Hi guys, Ingrid here, on a mission to have you get your confidence back at work. And of course, I use mindful ways for you to express your authentic voice and to unleash new levels of creativity. Anyway, as you know, a really big thing for me is for people to be their authentic self at work, to be able to express their authentic self, because of course that is where the magic comes from, you being yourself. But we know, don't we, that in the workplace, you are actually told to do the opposite. You're told to assimilate, you're told to fit in, you're told to dim your light, which is all a bit crazy because then you'll never be creative that way. So I've got with me the wonderful Juliet Eccleston, have I pronounced it right?
That's right, yes, Juliet Eccleston.
Wonderful Juliet Eccleston, who I just adore. She is just disrupting the whole recruitment scene at the moment. We'll talk to her about that. But once upon a time, she herself found that she did have to, or was even advised to suppress her authentic self, to minimize who she is. And one day she said, I'm not doing this no more. Because we know how tough it is to be ourselves at work, I thought I'm going to get the wonderful Juliet on board just to share with you her story, if that's all right. Hello, Scrumptious, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, very good. I feel like I have a lot to live up to now.
Just to you, you're already amazing. So Juliet, can you tell everyone what you do?
Yes, so I'm co-founder of Any Good, which is a new way to find talent. So we've disrupted the recruitment market through providing a platform where experts recommend candidates for roles directly. So that's a completely new venture for me, and very freeing to be.
Now that's quite a courageous thing to do. Anything disruptive is really courageous to do.
Yeah.
Probably ruffles a few feathers as well. No,
Definitely.
Never mind. So, but this wasn't always the case. So you used to work in corporate, is that right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And actually, when you mentioned about this, and I did a little bit on LinkedIn around it, and it got me thinking about the whole corporate side of things. And it reminded me that actually I didn't start life in corporate. I started life when I was at school. All I ever wanted to do was be a policewoman, and so I actually started working for the police, West Midlands Police, and then went into corporate life. And it was that switch, I think, from working for the police into corporate life that was such a big change for me, and where I noticed a significant difference in terms of what was expected of you and your persona and how you occurred to others. That was probably the biggest difference.
And did you assimilate to that quite easily? You felt the difference, or did you just think, look, I'm just going to go ahead with this, or was that initially?
It was a bit of a shock actually at the moment. When I worked for the police originally, although there's their own challenges with working within a male-dominated environment, actually, because you're so much part of a team that needs to rely on one another, it was very much a group of people who, although they took the mickey out of whatever was unique about you, at the same time it was leveraged and it was maximised. So where there was a particular scenario going on and they needed somebody that was of a particular unique character or personality who had something unique about them, they used that. And so as a female, and I was quite young at the time, if there was something where where that would be useful, then that was used. It was never something that was that I felt as if was against me in any way, which is quite strange given it's quite a male-dominated environment, and they tended to let you get on with, to recognise that you could probably handle yourself and get on with things, and everybody just looked after one another for whoever they were. And so I left that kind of environment and moved into much more of a corporate environment. And so I didn't actually expect there to be I knew there'd be a difference, but the difference was quite a significant step change. I thought it would be a more professional environment and less of the crude jokes and all of that kind of thing.
So you got to the point where, so we just frozen everyone, so I just had to edit that bit. So you got to the point where you moved to the corporate environment. You realized, you knew there was going to be a significant difference.
Yes.
You knew there'd be a difference, but you didn't realize it would be as significant as it was.
Yeah. And so, and because I was very keen, I was young and very keen to do well, I think I just fell into the trap of doing whatever it took to do well. And And so I was receiving feedback quite early on from both females and males around how I needed to be and occur to others in order to get on. And some of that was very direct in terms of you need to be like this, and others was just more inferred in terms of sort of general, sort of in meetings and that kind of thing. But certainly things. I mean, I even remember one from a female in a large corporate environment where she actually told me that I wiggled too much when I walked.
Wow.
which I didn't quite know what to do about. It wasn't something that I could particularly help.
I want to laugh, but I'm struggling to laugh as well.
And then there was other things like, you need to be going out for drinks more with the right people. You need to you need to sort of just basically be like everybody else, but not in a you need to understand how to do analysis better or how to run meetings better or facilitate things better. Nothing that, in terms of the actual job description, much more the cultural norm that was happening around that particular environment. And most of the environments I've been in since, where I've been told, oh, you probably aren't going to be aggressive enough, or we think you're a little bit quiet, because of my background. I never lose my temper particularly, because obviously from the police side of things, you learn to be very calm and deal with situations in a certain way. And now I'm learning the benefit of that much more and having my own unique style. But for a long time in corporate life, that was seen by others as a weakness rather than actually as a strength.
Can you explain on that? When you say they saw it as a weakness, can you expand on that?
Yeah, so my background in corporate life is around technology and change programs and delivering change, and a lot of that requires you to be able to negotiate with suppliers and with teams that are delivering, and it's a very male-dominated environment, and often in negotiations or where things are getting quite tough and delivery dates, you might not be hitting them. Ordinarily, the way that often these things get dealt with is through a certain level of I guess of aggression or boldness, and those kinds of typical sort of male traits where you just shout. Whoever shouts loudest gets what they want. And I don't particularly have that skill in terms of that style of working. And so it was only sort of over probably the last sort of 10 years or so where I started to actually realise that I'd moved much further away from my original self, and found myself on a very large programme which required me to have every ounce of myself. I couldn't, I had no capacity left. I had to put my whole self into it in order to deliver it. And in order to do that, I had to be me. And so it kind of almost, that scale of delivering responsibility I had forced me to find everything within myself to deliver it. And that's where I found it to be much better. It was almost being forced into it that helped.
So you're very self-aware naturally, because this is happening to a lot of people, and it'd be so subconscious they wouldn't even realise it was happening. Have you always been self-aware? So were you always feeling this isn't right, or was there a point would you say it was so unconscious, and then then you hit a time in life and thought,
I think probably you just start to realise that what people are asking, you start to just get confidence, I guess, in your own abilities. And certainly when I first started in corporate life, I didn't really, I was in my early 20s. I didn't really know what I was about even. So I didn't know how I wanted to grow my own skills and my own way of doing things. And then through looking at different role models, I think you start to pick up on different things. Well, I like how they do that. That fits with me as a character and my values and how I like to work. Yeah. And so you kind of build that up. And then this is what happened for me anyway, as I kind of grew more towards the role models that I had and was able to reflect their style better, you can see much more clearly what's not in line with how you want to work as you grow yourself. And then for me, there was a definite tipping point when it was just like, actually, I need to grab hold of this in the way that I need to do it myself. And yes, that was quite an empowering feeling, really. And that, I guess, that then grew until sort of ultimately leaving corporate life into being much more confident.
And you picked up on a key word there, how empowering it is. And, I've certainly witnessed that, and I've experienced that with clients, where they eventually get that courage to take off that coat. And they say it's life-changing.
Yes, yeah. And I think some of it is also other people. I think one of the things that did actually happen was that other people recognised some of these skills within me before I did. And so there's those people that sort of along your career where they go, no, you really can do this. You can absolutely deliver this. And there's, been 3 or 4 of those people during my career that have given me things because they know that I can absolutely deliver it and they want me to deliver it in my way.
Absolutely.
And they've been incredible for me in terms of sort of sponsoring me and amplifying what I'm good at. And so that's kind of where, and I guess that feeds back into what I'm doing now in terms of what I want people to do is to be recommended for roles and recommended based on what they're great at, rather than they're brilliant at an interview or their job profiles come up because they do a great CV or anything. It's much more about having a level playing field for people and being sponsored and put forward for roles, and the right people getting the right roles, because that's sort of certainly helped me.
A bit more of an authentic process rather than this.
People getting to understand the real you and allowing the real you to go for the right kind of role.
Because you're totally right. Some people are just really great at writing CVs. People are really great at writing job descriptions.
Yes.
We've got a great job description. We've got a great CV, and they go there, meet together, and realise actually really unhappy because it's really authentic at either end.
Whereas somebody that would know me would know, okay, she'd be great at that company, or she'd definitely be able to do that, and they'd probably think of me for roles that I might not even think of for myself. I mean, we know that females tend to not put themselves forward as much maybe for things because they look at the things they can't do as much as the things that they can, and so it's great to have that sponsor, I think.
And that's what's great about the whole diversity of thought concept, is that they really want people to think outside the box, and it isn't just going for the same old people for doing the same old job. It's like, actually, why don't you just think about this completely different? Let's go for someone who wouldn't ordinarily go for, completely opposite. Let's approach this from a complete different angle, and they realize it really does bring out a whole really great innovation and new creativity, and really brings out some marvelous results. So no, I love what you're doing. Quick question, Julie. So so I get this a lot. It's the thing I'm faced with more and more, especially in the UK, where you say to people it's about being authentic self, bringing your view to the table, and and it's like telling them to jump off a cliff. It's like I can see them. There are some people like, right, let's go. I'm ready for this.
What, really me? You want the real me?
And they're like, well, I can't do that. And I'm like, it's the real you where the creativity lies, blah, blah, blah. And expect possibility. And you can see them freeze, like, no way. We've got to assimilate. We've got to fit in. Like, and you can just see it's like, no, I cannot. Kind of thing. So bearing in mind that that's very much the culture that exists, especially in the corporate environments, where people feel that, well, no, I would lose my job if I did that. What advice would you give to them?
I guess it's starting off small, really. I guess you don't have to jump in and suddenly go, this is my personality, everybody's been hiding it for the last 10 years.
I've seen that happen before.
Yes, to be honest, I think I probably just started to have a bit of fun with it. So thinking, actually, just those smallest of things, like, I don't know, whatever that small thing is that makes a difference, that shows up your personality in a little bit of a way that you've not done before, I would say. And so whether that's, maybe there's, I don't know, a meeting that you might go to every every week or something, and it's perhaps one where you're you're never vocal in it because you don't feel like you can be. And so I've had this in the past where I've been in meetings and I've thought, I just turn up to this and I don't say anything. How am I adding value to it? And so just having sort of a small intention or a goal, just to say, right, in this meeting, my goal for this meeting is to just speak in it, and even if it's just amplifying somebody else, or agreeing with somebody else, or adding to something that somebody else says. So I think for me, it's just slowly starting to allow that to think, okay, so what is it about me? What's the one thing that I can just start to? And as you start to realise, I think it then escalates quite quickly in terms of other areas of things. And it might just be the stupidest of things, like you start to change your clothes into things that you're more comfortable with wearing, or a brighter colour, or something different, that just allows you to feel different about yourself. And that, sometimes things as silly as that can just mean that you feel different as you walk into a building. And you start to take on your own persona rather than feeling, it's like what they say about traffic wardens putting a uniform on and they become a different person. If you've got something that you feel more confident in or yourself in, then wear that into work and allow it to sort of permeate around what you do.
Wonderful. I love that. I mean, I've said it to people before, and even if it's like, wearing a spotted handkerchief, which you usually do, tuck it in your top pocket. So just do something ever so slightly, and you're totally right. It is like a domino effect, isn't it? It's like, I didn't actually die. I am still alive. You mentioned at the beginning, which was a really wonderful insight for me, was that within the police force, that you did find that actually being your authentic self was actually leveraged.
Yes.
That individual personality. What advice would you give for leaders in terms of leveraging these different personalities, these different voices within their workforce?
Yeah, I mean, I think just probably paying more attention to the people that they've got and what they're bringing to the table, and so the fact that I've got, lots of people have got crazy backgrounds and have done crazy things in their lives, or have got some weird interests or different things that make them unique. We don't turn up as a project manager or as an analyst or as a techie. We turn up as a complex individual made up of lots of different things. And I think really paying attention to the whole person that you've got, and just thinking about all of those amazing other things that they might be bringing to the table. And it's almost a bit, I guess it's a bit like a conductor in an orchestra in my head, where you kind of think about all of the different things that you've got in front of you and how to orchestrate that to come together better.
I feel emotional. That was just such a wonderful, wonderful analogy. It's like an orchestra, isn't it? And it's this conducting of this. Isn't that wonderful? When I hear a great analogy, it just makes my skin turn on. Like, that is it. Like, there it is. Yeah, it really is that, isn't it? It's about because that's the thing, that the leader that we're used to is one who is a bit autocratic, and they kind of tell you what to do, don't they? And they lead from the top up. That's what they're saying of diversity of thought. The leader now is really quite different, and they lead from the middle, and it's like an orchestra, isn't it? And it's bringing out all these great personalities and these differences from this.
And just tell those trombones to tone it down a bit, and the flute and then bring in the oboes, and it's just kind of just to allow that it's a much better sound if everybody has the right stage.
And it's so good. It's like slight the drum, because I'm the trombone that needs shutting up. Do you know what I mean? But equally, because of the way I am, and I've lived diverse all of my life, but I've always gravitated to the introvert, because I know that within them there's such because there's some wonderful information that they have that I would have missed.
Yes,
so I love to gravitate to. So you're right, and it's shutting up the big gob.
I'm not saying that you're a big gob.
I'll do it, don't worry. I know, but I'm aware. So I know to try to be more aware, to shut up and listen for that little quieter person in the corner, because that's where your magic
Yes.
is there too, right? So
Yes.
yes, it's to go.
Yeah.
Julia, I think you're amazing beyond words. I will definitely be grabbing you again for any events that I have or panels or anything like that.
No, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I'd love to be
You are
honoured.
awesome beyond words. Thank you so very much. And if anybody wants a more authentic way to get a job or to recommend someone, can you give us the website address, please?
Yeah, so that's just www.anygood.com.
Couldn't get any simpler, really, could it?
No. Person.
Exactly. Juliet, thank you so much. I'll speak to you soon, okay?